Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for attending today's webinar. My name is Martin. I work as a Student Relations Manager at the Oxford College of Marketing, and I'm pleased to introduce you to our presenter today, Kara Stanford, who runs KMS Marketing and is a strategic marketing consultant. Kara works with small and medium enterprises and assists businesses in developing successful and effective marketing strategies. And today's webinar, the 5 common marketing planning mistakes we make, will take you through the 5 common marketing planning mistakes and will give you practical ways how to overcome them. And if you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to type them in the chat area and we'll get back to all of the questions at the end of the webinar. We are also recording the webinar, so it will be available in the Digital Knowledge Bank section on Oxcom Learning, and we'll also upload the slides for you. And of course, if you have any further queries, do get in touch. So I'm passing it over to Kara, and hopefully you'll enjoy the webinar today.
Thanks ever so much, Marta. Hello, everybody. If at any point you can't hear me, do pop a note in the chat and we'll sort that out. So, as Marta said, my name is Kara Stanford. I'm a strategic marketing consultant. I specialise in helping small to medium-sized organisations review and plan their marketing so that they can grow their businesses successfully. I'm also a tutor with the Oxford Professional Education Group, chartered marketer and an accredited watertight marketing consultant. Well, what does that mean? What all of this really means is that I base the advice I give my clients on sound marketing theory and understanding. And I'm also licensed to use a marketing approach outlined in the book Watertight Marketing. So that's me. As Marta said, do put your questions up and we will go through them at the end of the session. So let's go. Oh, I skipped a slide. First of all, just to be clear, this webinar relates to SME, so I thought I'd look up the official definition of an SME, and this is the government definition of an SME. You can see it covers everything from the freelancer working on their own up to companies with a turnover of just under 25 million, just under 250 employees, and gross assets just less than 12.5 million. Obviously, a lot of the planning mistakes that I see in SMEs can be found in larger companies, in particular in their divisions and their departments. So if some of you are listening and you're working for larger companies than this, please do stay with us. And I'm sure that there will be some learning that you can take away from this. So let's get stuck into the 5 common marketing mistakes that SMEs make. Common marketing plan. Mistake number 1, not having a marketing plan. Okay, this might seem really obvious to some of you, but there are a lot of SMEs out there, including those larger SMEs, that don't have what I would call a marketing plan in place. When I ask them the question, do you have a marketing plan? I often get answers like this. Yes, kind of. Yes, we know what emails we're sending and the events we're attending. Oh, sure. Oh, I can't send it to you. It's not written down like that. We don't really need one. If you are a company that wants to grow and you've set targets around your growth, then you need a marketing plan. In your head, turn that word marketing plan into a plan for your growth. The reasons that this happens, and the reason I see this a lot, is that in SMEs where the founders are still very active, there's a temptation to leave everything in their heads. Now, some of you might be those owners, or some of you might be the marketing managers working for those types of people. This is really, really frustrating. It's frustrating because when something is in someone's head, you have to guess at what they mean. So if they say, we work with GPs, well, great. That's a superb strategic aim, but does that mean GPs in small practices? Is that private practice GPs? Is that GPs who wish to modernise? Is that GPs who are coming up for retirement? When marketing plans aren't written down, you are constantly having to check with the person in the know about what you're doing and ensure that you're heading in the right direction. In other words, the direction that they've got in their head that needs to be set. It's like trying to drive a car and navigate, but instead of having a map or sat nav, you've got somebody next to you who knows what the roads are, knows what's coming up next, but they're also doing 101 other things because they're the director of the business. So they've got lots of other important things to do, so you can't always get their time. It's incredibly frustrating, it's time wasting, and it's ineffective. The not having a marketing plan is even worse in SMEs with more than one director. Different directors might have different views and different interpretations of the same thing. So, in my opinion, if the marketing plan is not written down for everyone to read, you do not have a marketing plan. A marketing plan is written down, can be shared, and has been shared. And it's more than just about campaigns. We'll come on to that later. Has been shared is important. And for those of you who are perhaps the marketing managers, you will know the frustration of having to run marketing but not having a plan that is solidified and put in front of you. So, mistake number one, not having a marketing plan. Mistake number two, not having both a strategic and a tactical marketing plan. What do I mean by that? Marketing plan has to include both strategic level marketing and tactical marketing. Now, it can be two separate plans. That's absolutely fine. So let's look at the CIM definition of marketing planning. Marketing planning allows an organization to bring together all the elements of marketing, therefore providing clear direction in relation to the key marketing value drivers. Developing an insightful marketing plan ensures marketers contribute at the strategic level in the organisation. Put simply, the CIM are laying out that marketing is strategic marketing and tactical marketing. It needs to pull together. Now, I would love to tell you that I'm clever enough to have come up with a superb marketing planning framework that encompasses all elements of marketing. I haven't, but PR Smith has. So let's look at his simple but brilliant model, SOSTAC. And I'm sure that quite a few of you have come across this before. So PR Smith begins with S, situational analysis. Where are we now? Objectives. Where do you want to get to? the strategy, how do you want to get there? These are the strategic elements of a marketing plan, those first three. Then he moves into tactics. How are you going to get there? The detail. And that's where our 7 Ps come in. Then, of course, there's action, who's going to be doing what and when, and then there's control. What have you put in place? Let's break this down a little bit further. The strategic part of a marketing plan sets out what you are selling, who you are selling it to, and why you are selling it. Or in other words, what problems your company is solving, who you're solving them for, and how you're solving them. Think about this as clearly setting out your whole market proposition. This part of your plan has to be detailed. It has to be based on customer and marketplace research. And it also gives you boundaries within which to operate. And more importantly, it tells your organization where you need to focus, so you don't waste time, money, or effort trying to sell stuff no one wants to people who don't want or need it for problems that don't exist. This is strategic marketing. This is what needs to be in your strategic marketing plan, and this is the thinking part of marketing. If your organization doesn't do this crucial first stage, your tactical marketing, so that's when you come to do marketing, won't be effective as it could be. It's like trying to build a house without building the foundations, or building a house by saying, oh look, there's a pile of bricks, I'll just give it a go. You need to have your plan, you need to know what you're doing. You could have the best campaign idea in the world, but if you fail to understand your marketplace and develop your products to meet their needs, then your campaign will fail. So let's look at what a good strategic marketing plan consists of. Hey, we're back at PR Smith's definition. It very clearly begins with, where are we now? So that's a clear picture of where the business currently is, based on research. And those of you that have done your CIM diploma, you'll know that there are lots of tools at our disposal for looking and doing that research. Its objectives, where do we want to get to? And these objectives help the corporate objectives. So for example, a strategic marketing objective could be, we need to sell 100 widgets to segment A to make £1,000, which is the equivalent of 1% of turnover. That's fairly clear for us as marketing managers what we're working towards. A good strategic marketing plan also has a strategy, how we're going to get there. And these are your go-to-market strategies based on the ANSOF matrix. Do look at ANSOF again if you need a reminder. And it's also thinking about your market proposition. What are you offering? Who are you offering it to? And why will they actually want it? If you set out your strategic marketing plan in this way, you are going to have focus and you're going to have direction, and then you can plan effectively. Not doing this, it's the equivalent of saying something like, I want to get to Scotland by this afternoon, but not really knowing where your starting point is. The S for situational analysis means that you're not really going to know how you're going to achieve that objective. Because if you're starting in Cornwall and I'm starting from London, well, journey times to Scotland differ greatly. If perhaps you've got a bike but I've got to walk, journey times differ greatly again. If it's a bank holiday and everyone's on the road, journey times will differ again. So it's very much, we have to start with this situational analysis. We have to know our starting point so that we know the gap between where we are now and where we want to get to. So a good strategic marketing plan contains those 3 elements, and they have to begin with the where are we now. So let's look at the tactical elements of your plan. Tactical marketing sets out how you sell your product or services, and it's all about implementing the marketing strategy. So we've got this brilliantly clear picture of where we are now, where we want to get to, and we've got some focus and some boundaries to work within. This is often the doing marketing stage. It's the getting on and doing it marketing stage. When people say to me, we do marketing, they often mean promotional marketing. And they often mean, and that, as we know, is a part of tactical marketing. So let's break tactical marketing down a little bit further. Tactical marketing is the 7 Ps, not 1. It's not just about promotion. I would say to you, how many of you are told to do marketing in your business, and what they mean is do more promotional marketing and not looking at all of the 7 Ps. In fact, you can see I'm quite passionate about this. That's why I have written in big words, underlined, tactical marketing are the 7 Ps, not 1. It is more than promotion. So with mistake number 2, we need strategic marketing to set out clearly where we are now, the direction we're going to, and then we need to look at all of the P's of tactical marketing to understand how we're going to pull our plan together and what we're going to be doing to achieve our goals. Final slide on this is you need both. Not having a strategic marketing plan is like setting off on a journey with no idea where you're going, what vehicle you've got to get there, and what you need to achieve. That lack of direction and focus is absolutely awesome when you're backpacking. Trust me, I've done it. It's brilliant, that feeling of, I don't know where I want to go. Doesn't matter. It's less awesome if your business wants to grow and if you want to use every pound of your marketing budget wisely and grow a business efficiently and effectively. So let's recap. Mistake number 2, not having both a strategic and a tactical marketing plan. Mistake number 3, we touched upon briefly, focusing on awareness activities, and this deserves its own section. I go into a lot of businesses where they say, we're doing marketing, and it's not working. And when I look at what they're doing, even ones that say have their strategic marketing plan sorted, they're doing a lot of promotion, they're doing a lot of awareness raising, getting their name out there, all absolutely brilliant stuff, but it's not the only thing. There is more to marketing than awareness activities. Let's face it, most people, though, who aren't marketers think that marketing, that tactical marketing, is all about awareness and promotion. But there's this whole buying process that the marketing function should be looking after and helping prospects move through until they become loyal customers. And then our job is to retain their loyalty. So Philip Kotler first coined a buying process, and he had awareness, interest, desire, action, which showed the whole customer journey to becoming a customer. I really like, and I use all the time, the expanded buying process developed by Bryony Thomas of Watertight Marketing. If we look at each stage of our customers and their journey to becoming our loyal customers, there's more than just making them aware of us. First of all, there is awareness. The person whose problems we can solve has to become aware that our organisations exist and that we can solve their problems. That awareness raising is not enough. Next, they need to show an interest. They have to be intrigued enough about us to want to find out a little bit more. Then, what we're hoping that they will do, or what we're helping them do, is we want to get to the point where they're evaluating us, where we're on their short list of people to solve their problems. So they're probably comparing us to other organisations that can solve their problems at this point. Then they might trial us out. They'll part with a little bit of money or time to just suss out if your organisation is right for them. They haven't committed yet. They're not a customer yet. Then they decide that they love that trial, so they're going to buy our main product or service. That's the adoption stage. And then they become loyal. They keep buying our product and service, and even better, they rave about it to their friends and colleagues. And so the cycle keeps repeating itself. So there is more to tactical marketing than awareness raising activities. So now let's look at your tactical marketing plan and how it can address all aspects of the buying process, not just the awareness stage, not just that get the message out there stage. Some examples. To help them become aware of us, what do we need to do as marketers? It might be a social media campaign. A good social media campaign where our prospective customers are looking and they go, oh, didn't know that. Oh, you exist. When they're starting to show an interest, what kind of things do we need to put in place as marketers to satisfy that interest? It could be a blog. It could be a blog with a free download. Read this blog and then at the end, sign up and get a paper that gives you a bit more information. So that's what we can do as marketers when they're interested. It might be that when they're starting to suss us out, see if they like us, one of the things that we can give them as marketers is a what you get guide. This is what you get. If you sign up with us, you will get this, this, and this. Do make sure that you're comparing like with like, because other people might tell you you're getting this, but you aren't. But we're helping them evaluate us. We're giving them the tools. And then at this trial stage of the buying process, we could offer a free trial. We often get this with them with software. I'm looking at getting a piece of a social media deck and they're saying, get a 30-day free trial. Superb. I get to see if I like it, see if it works for my business. Then when they become a customer, when they adopt your product or service, what do we have in place as marketing? Well, it could be a welcome phone call. It could be a welcome email. It could be a whole series of emails. When I first take out my business insurance, I get a monthly email with lots of legal advice that I would never ever bother to go and seek out myself, but which is pretty handy for me. And then at the loyalty stage, what can we give them as marketers? What can we give them to say, right, thank you so much for being a loyal customer, for shouting from the rooftops, from coming back to us. We could give them, a regular newsletter with useful tips and information. We could give them discount codes. I was recently invited to some drinks at a bar in London, free drinks one evening in London. Superb, because I was a loyal customer of a certain organisation. So what can you be doing as marketers at each stage of the buying process? So, mistake number 3, focusing on awareness activities. As we have just seen, there is a lot more than awareness activities. Mistake number 4, self-reference criteria. This is a tough one. Especially in SMEs where the founder or the founding directors are still around, because often they've worked really, really hard to build their organization and they've based it on their knowledge and their understanding of their clients. And often their clients will be people like them. And this might have helped them build a business to a certain level, but it gets to a point where actually, if you want to grow, you need to attract more than people that are similar to you, and you need to be able to get in their heads. And using self-reference criteria, in other words, thinking, if I like it, it's going to work, is really dangerous. Depending on how you feel and how strongly you wish to word it, I sometimes do say to my clients, your opinion is not important. Well, that's a shame that you don't use Twitter. However, your prospective clients are on Twitter. So if you want them to become aware of you, you need to use Twitter. That's great that you like to read 20-page documents. However, your prospective clients like to watch a video. Okay, a little bit harsh. Your opinion is important because you're inside the business. You're working as part of the business. But too often we focus on what we prefer and what we think about our products or services and how we like to be marketed to, rather than what our customers think. Our customers' opinion is the most important opinion. Staff opinions are really, really good, especially frontline staff, the staff who are dealing with the customers on a regular basis, because they will be getting insight. But you have to keep going back to, where are our customers? What do they use? What do they like? How do they like to be communicated with? When do they like to be communicated with? So I've outlined 3 ways that we can get to know our customers better. The first one is watch your customers' behaviour based on your company's data. Often in our businesses and in the businesses I work with, we have a wealth of knowledge and information about our customers. So look at all the data you already hold on your customers and see what you can draw from it. How much have your customers bought from you in the last year? Which products or services are most popular? Do most people buy once and never again? Or are they a repeat customer? Is it the same product they're buying, or do they try different ones? Do they buy at certain times of the day? Do they respond to your marketing throughout the buying process at different times of the day? How many long-term customers do you have? And you must define long-term, and that will vary from business to business. And how much have they spent in their lifetime? Have they recommended you? If so, who to? How did that go? Were they recommending you to the right type of people, to the right type of customers for your organisation? How many one-off purchase customers do you get? Can you work out from your data why they might have stopped buying from you? Do your customers click on your social media posts? If so, which ones? Do they open your emails? If so, which ones? Do they forward your emails? If you sell a digital product, can you track how it's used? If you have an online support section on your website, which page is most viewed? What pages are they looking at? Which pages are they staying on? If they're looking at your online support section, which questions are they trying to get answered most? This will give you an idea as to where they're getting stuck. And if you don't have an online support section, what's the most common reason why customers phone or email you to complain or ask a question if they're getting stuck using your product or service? Start with your customers' behaviour based on your company's data. Collate all of this, save all of this in a database. Even a simple Excel sheet is better than nothing. Another way to get to know your customers is to look at the data you can get elsewhere. And this is where your sales and customer services teams are really, really important. In fact, anybody who in your company who has direct contact with your customers, do they have any insights into customers and prospective customers' behaviours? Do they understand when they're buying, how they're buying, their preferences for buying? Are there any online reviews of your product, your service, or your company? Have you found them all? Are you monitoring them all? What do they say? Have people talked about you on blogs or on social media? What are they saying? Thoroughly Google your brand name or names, depending on how your company is set up, and see what comes up way down the listings beyond the pages you're already aware of. So keep scrolling through. It could be that this is just a really tedious waste of your time, I'll be honest here, but sometimes it gives you a gold mine of untapped customer information where you see your company's name or your product's names cropping up in unlikely places on things such as forums, on other people's blogs as comments. And the final way to get to know your customers better is to talk to them. You can ask existing customers what they like and what they dislike about your company, your products and your services. You can ask them what their problems are. Are you actually solving the problems they have, or have you developed a product or service and then try to find a problem that it will solve. Subtly different. What problems do your customers have? What are their needs? Find those out and then think about how can you solve their problems and meet their needs. If you supply a high value offering to a relatively small number of people, then one method to gather this information could be taking them out for lunch, asking them to come along to a group lunch session, one-to-one or a group. Depends on your type of organisation. Another method is via a questionnaire, which you could incentivise with a thank you gift, an appropriate thank you gift, I must add. Questionnaires are an objective, anonymous way to gather feedback and can be very useful if you feel that your client's relationship with you or your business might hinder them in providing totally honest answers. So mistake number 4, using self-reference criteria and thinking, if I like this and I like being marketed in this way, then my clients are going to. And some ways to overcome that and get to know your customers better. So, last one, mistake number 5, being unrealistic about people and time resource. Having the right person to develop and deliver your company's marketing plan is essential. I see this again and again and again in SMEs. Often they've hired a specialist in one area of marketing, for example, digital marketing, or a copywriter, or a PR, somebody who's good at PR. And then they're really surprised when that person delivers tactical marketing only that's focused on their speciality area. And I get asked questions like, well, why didn't they tell us all of this that you're telling us about? Why didn't they help us develop a strategic marketing plan? Well, why didn't they tell us that we needed to look at where we are now? Why didn't they tell us that we needed to look at the whole buying process? Probably because they didn't know. And I think it's incredibly unfair, one, on the person who's in that position, who's saying might be an absolutely superb digital marketer, to be expecting them to develop a whole strategic marketing plan. And I think it's painful for the company who aren't getting the right types of marketing plans at the levels that they need. So having the right person to develop and deliver your marketing plan is essential. The ways that you can find that right person, you can obviously find somebody like me. You can skill up the people inside your organisation, and I sincerely hope that a lot of your organisations are doing that and that you are looking at Chartered Institute of Marketing accreditation, because that's skilling you up, which means that you're skilling up your organisation. Or you can hire someone with those skills, with the skills in producing marketing plans, strategic marketing plans and tactical marketing plans. The other part about the mistake was a bit of time resource, and it's almost a little bit of an add-on, but I also see SMEs being very unrealistic about how long it takes to produce a decent marketing plan. It's not something you can do in just an afternoon. It's something that does take time. It might take research. It might take more research than you think, especially if you need to get to know your customers, especially if you need to understand where your business is. So being unrealistic is mistake number 5. So to summarise, the 5 common marketing planning mistakes SMEs make. Mistake 1, not having a marketing plan. If it's not written down and it's not shared, you don't have a marketing plan. Mistake 2, not differentiating between strategic and tactical marketing plans. PR Smith, SOSTAC. You need to have all elements of it for it to be a true marketing plan. Mistake 3, focusing internally, self-reference criteria. Just because, yeah, I love words. I utterly and totally love words. Most of my clients don't. So do not focus solely internally. Look at your customers. You must focus on them. Mistake 4, focusing on awareness activities. There is more than just awareness activities in the buying process. We need to go through all of them as marketers and make sure we have something in stay at every single step of the buying process. And mistake 5, being unrealistic about who can produce marketing plans. So, thank you very much. Over to you now. Your questions, please. Okay, I'm just looking. So you're saying you're an e-commerce website, so we don't have anything like blogs on the website. I think the first thing, Christian, is to think about what your customers would value. And it's where would you be using a blog? So if we go back to that buying process slide. There we go. Saying, right, what's their journey that they're taking? So a blog is just one way of piquing interest. So if you're an e-commerce site, it could be that you're gathering their interest by putting out product descriptions, by having examples of how they could use your product. There are lots of other ways to gather people's interest. A blog is just one of them. I see you're typing. So can you use videos? Yep, you could use videos. It really depends on your customers. So think about their journey. They've become aware of you. So they know that you exist. Perhaps you've done an amazing social media campaign or an advertising campaign. What's the next step? What's the next step that you're going to put in place for them? And what are you going to provide for them? So yeah, it could be through a video. It could be that you provide a video on your website. It could be that you provide a video as part of your social media showing them how to use your products and services, a little guide. But then you've got to think, what's the next step after that? We've always got to be thinking, what's the next step? Where are we taking people to? Yeah. How-to guides, absolutely. But think about your next steps. Thank you. You need a champion. I think the first thing is you need a champion internally. So I would say think about your directors and think about the one who's going to be most receptive. So some people are naturally more inclined to be methodical and to want a plan in place. Make sure that your plan speaks the language they want. So we would, I think, at the very beginning, I had an example of with a strategic plan. There we go, objectives. So make sure your plan links clearly to the business objectives, because directors of a business, typically they need to know, are they going to get the income? Are they going to make the profit? So if you just say, oh, we need to write more blogs, and they're going to say, well, why? It's like, well, we need to write blogs because when people show an interest in our organization, that's a good way for them to find out a little bit more about that. Then from the blog, we're going to offer them this, which will offer them this, which will lead to a sale, so keep linking it back to your objectives. Does that help you, Caroline? No, I think again, as Laura said, it's just coming back to your customers. It's coming back to your customers again and again and again. They are important. You know, they're the people that we're trying to convince that we can solve their problems with our products and services. We have to be where they are. So, any more questions? Oh, yeah. Okay, absolutely. So that's no, no, Roy, I agree with you 100%. And that's where I've left the slide up about the strategic element. So the objectives are linking to the mission and vision. And that's where, again, you need that clarity. So if your mission is to be the best widget seller in the UK, then you can see that you've got a very clear marketing objective linked to helping achieve that mission. Because yeah, otherwise the activity, and I see lots of SMEs where they do marketing, and they don't understand why they're just running around in circles and getting nowhere and not achieving their mission and vision. They've not made those links. They have not made those links at all. So absolutely, we are, as marketers, we are here to help the business achieve their objectives. Any other questions? So thank you.